So next we welcome onto the stage Phil Hooper, Corporate Affairs Director at Sodexo UK, who is talking about inspiring the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Phil Hooper.
I've actually got a late addition to try and enhance my presentation. Chloe, who you'll hear more about in a second. So first of all, can I say that Chloe and I are delighted to be here this afternoon, and we are here to talk a little bit about this part of inspiring the next generation. Now, I'm conscious we started the day with the games makers from the Olympics, and it's a theme that clearly is one that has been really positive as far as this country is concerned. And I think Sir John Armitt, Willie Walsh, Alistair Storey, the Secretary of State all mentioned in some way, shape or form the impact and the positive impact that the Olympics had on this country and particularly our industry. And I just want to take a little bit of time just to talk you through my own organisation and the impact that the Olympics had on that. Not to brag about it as an organisation, but perhaps just to tell a story about how it impacts on a company and an individual. London 2012 was a very significant contract for my company to win, and we had two main contracts. One was to run the public catering in the South Park, so half of the park around the main stadium, and the other one was to run the corporate hospitality, the very expensive corporate hospitality, I might add. If you actually brought official hospitality tickets, you were taken to a three-tier, 3,000-seater, well, 6 restaurants, but 3,000 covers, right next to the main stadium. Fantastic hospitality to the very highest standard, and something that we were very proud of as a company to win and to deliver. Now, in order to fulfill that contract to LOCOG, who were our clients, to deliver that, we had to recruit 3,500 temporary staff. So I thought I'd show you a little video just to give you a taster of what it's like to recruit that sort of people and what we had to do. So let's have a look at the video.
Today is our training day. It's a culmination of over a year's worth of work into this project. We've recruited to date over 3,500 people, all of whom we've interviewed individually, and recruited nearly 45% of our staff from the host boroughs, of which about 35% were previously workless.
Today we'll process through our doors, there'll be about 370 people, and out of that number there's about 180 that we need to capture for their right to work. So yeah, quite a lot that we need to process today. And then when they go into their training sessions, we then start to scan passports, take photocopies of birth certificates, and then it's just for our records, and then we have a huge database of all of that information.
Some people came through the recruitment process back in October, so it's 9 months ago now. So we've been really vigilant of keeping people up to date with the project. It's been e-shots, a lot's been through social networking, so Twitter, Facebook, managing that creatively.
And to be able to go out and recruit to the volume that we have done, train to the volume we have done, and actually deliver the amount of staff per day on site that we'll need, will be a truly phenomenal achievement.
Thank you. Hopefully that does give you some idea of the sort of challenge of in recruitment terms. Our brief was from LOCOG, unfortunately was made slightly more difficult in that we were not allowed to use the word Olympics in anything that we did. We weren't a sponsor, and therefore you're not allowed to use that word. So therefore we had to call our recruitment campaign Be More Than a Spectator. They also asked us that we would recruit as many people as possible from the host boroughs, which seemed a fair request. We did this through running large recruitment days at venues such as Excel, in our London offices, in the host boroughs themselves, and also in university roadshows around the UK. A further challenge, as you heard on the video, was that we were undertaking some of this recruitment 9 months before the Games. The majority of people we were recruiting were relatively young, and we needed to keep them engaged, albeit to keep them going before we actually got to the games. So it was absolutely crucial that we used all extensive social media networks that we could to keep these people engaged prior to the games. And I guess that now brings me to Chloe, which is the best part of the presentation, really. Chloe, come and join me on stage. I want to ask you some questions. We're going to share a microphone. So you were at school, scanning whatever you were scanning, and found a job, or found out about us.
Yeah, I saw an advert on Facebook, and one of my friends told me about it. So I had a look, done my research, and I applied. And luck would have it, I got an interview. And as we said, we employed 3,500 people. So the interviews were quite concise. They were about 15 to 20 minutes long. But it gave us a really good sense of what the company was about.
In 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So all those HR people out there, stop mucking about. So you got through the interview. We gave you a job, or two, I guess. Tell us a little bit about what you were offered and what did you get as a job?
So my first job was over the Olympics, and that was the staffing assistant. So that was all on site on the park.
And what is that? Tell me what a staffing assistant is.
So all the staff that were coming in I worked on the south of the park. So all the food service assistants, all the chefs, they'd come in, we'd give them the uniforms, check them in and out, ensuring they have all their correct things with them. So that's what I'd done for the Olympics. And then over the Paralympics, I was offered a job in admin and payroll. So I went over to head office, transferred there.
Okay, and when you got the interview, I noticed they talked about training in the VT. Did you get any training, or did we just dump you into the Olympics?
No, we did get training. The first day of training was health and safety based. So everyone who was working for us was on one of these days. So in that sense, it was good that we could talk to people all across
And just get a
all the
feel
different
for
jobs.
it.
Yeah. So then our next day was on site, and that was job specific. So that's where we really began to understand what we'd actually be doing in our roles.
And, $50 million question then. So the Olympics kicked off. It was all hell broke loose, very busy. How did you find it? What was it like?
It was a strange experience. I'd never been anywhere like it. It was absolutely buzzing atmosphere. Everyone was so excited. I think that gave a good sense of community within our employees because everyone was so excited for the games to go ahead. We were very motivated.
Good. And so we've done the Olympics, and what happened next?
I was informed of a job in our HR department as an administrator. So I was told, if you're interested, just hand in your CV. So that's what I done. I got an interview and I got the job. And now I'm in full-time HR admin, thanks to working at the Olympics.
So a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Take a few. We're going to come back to Chloe in a second just to close our presentation. But it's been touched on by a lot of the speakers today. Youth unemployment, as we heard from the last presenter, is horrendous. We're over 1 million now in the UK. We've got, I think we're only behind Greece and Spain in terms of youth unemployment in the UK. And in London, it's 1 in 4. Young people are unemployed. So it's a really tough environment we find ourselves in now, and it's beholden on us, I think, and this whole emphasis of the big conversation to really move this along. Now, whilst hospitality is a huge employer, and I think we've again heard about it, it's the 4th biggest employer in the UK, I just want to touch a little bit on the food service sector and wave a flag for our sector, in the sense that it's a £4 billion industry in its own right. We're in the public and private sector, and we have 14,000 outlets in the UK. And we serve about 1.4 billion meals a year. So, and we employ about 130,000 people. So in its own right, it's a big sector and one that we can play a full part in this particular initiative. And like Alistair, and I was listening to Alistair's story this morning, I'm a one-company man. I joined 37 years ago. I did left school with a couple of A-levels, but did vocational training, which again has been mentioned this morning, and was absolutely right for joining my industry. And I think this thing of forcing kids down a university route isn't necessarily right. And I think there's lots of opportunity there for people to do things like vocational training and then join our industry and be given very, very good career aspirations for this sector. It's one that you can start at the bottom and absolutely grow. And I think it's been mentioned several times today. And I think we have to recognise that young people are in a catch-22. They can't get a job because they haven't got work experience. They can't get in for a work experience. It's very difficult for them to access particularly large organisations. I think Chloe's a good example of where it does work well. There are many examples where it doesn't work so well, and I think we as leaders need to perhaps do a bit more to try and get these young people into our industry and into our companies. And I think I'd like to close by just asking Chloe to give us a view of life from her now that she's employed. Over to you. I've probably pinched your notes.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I had such a fantastic time working at the Olympics, and the opportunities I've been given have really been incredible. It's given me so much more confidence, and as a young person, getting your foot in the ladder for employment is the most difficult thing. So I think where we started with the Olympics, that's why I think we made such a difference in so many people's lives at the Olympics, because it's given so many more people the opportunity. And I think working at the Olympics 2012 really has changed my life for the better.
Thank you.